My name is Devin. I'm joined with Brad, and today we have somebody very special in the studio, the icon himself, Mike Brewer. What's happening?
Wow. Somebody called me an icon. I can't believe that. Well, thank you, guys. You know what? It's a delight and a pleasure to be here, not only at the Big E, but in your company. You're smashing it, boys. You're smashing it.
Thank you.
That's a good thing, right?
That's a very, yes, smashing it. Well, there's a bit of language interpretation we're going to have between us. We gave you the language. It's called English. It was given to us by the Queen of England. And then you guys have just ruined it. But basically, smashing it in England means you're smashing it, brother.
All right.
You're smashing it.
I love it.
And you certainly are. This is a treat and a delight to be here. May I say, I mean, for a beginning studio, you got a really cool shed.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
Thank you. Cool shed. It's lovely.
Shout out to JJ for that one.
You, obviously, we're at the Big E, so you have said that you've claimed this shed and you're taking it with you now.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you ain't going to hand it back. There's no handing it back.
Might as well keep it.
At this point.
Once you've lived in here for a couple of days and you've had a little bit of wind in the corner, a little bit of in the corner. Nobody else is going to want the shed. Keep it.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people come up asking for the price. You might end up asking it off. Might have to pull it up at one of the trucks you got next year's car show.
Keep saying to them, I can get you a price, but this ain't for sale. This one's coming home.
That works too. I love that.
Okay.
But real quick, we're just going to start off with where you're from and what was life growing up like there?
So for me, I'm from London. Me and my wife, we're both from the same town in London. It's a little town on the south of the river. It's called Brixton. It's the Afro-Caribbean community of London. So we've been brought up in that community. It still is today.
Yep.
It's an amazing part of London because it's the part that rocks. It's the part that bounces along. It's where Bob Marley made his records. It's where the Specials and all the David Bowie was born. It's that town.
Really?
So we have an amazing place that we come from. It's full of soul, full of heritage, full of history.
Lots of reggae.
Lots of reggae on every street corner, and we basically still live there, if you like, in a sense, because we spread our time between London and Los Angeles, where I make my show.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Well,
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How does a guy like yourself get from Brixton, London, England to LA to what you're doing now with Wheeler Dealers? How did that all start for you?
Hard work. And it's not hard work in the sense that I've tried to become famous, be this guy on TV. Hard work in the sense, there's a couple of things that me and my wife, we've been together 30 years, me and my wife, Michelle.
Hey, congrats.
Oh, congrats.
And there's a couple of things that we stick true to. We have a little ethos in our life, and that is we only ever do the right thing. We never do the wrong thing. We're positive people with positive attitudes, and we won't have a day off sick if we're not one of those people that just phoning their boss sick because they want to go and watch a football game. We work. We're real hard workers, and we work tirelessly all our life. And we work for each other, and we work to support our family, and we have this determination that we just want to better our lives and succeed. And by doing that, when we were buying and selling, I sell cars for a living. That's my trade. From when I left school, I started to buy and sell cars. We became incredibly popular in our area in Brixton for buying and selling cars. And we become known, because car dealers can have a dishonest reputation or an honest reputation. But I became known as the go-to guy if you want to buy a good car. So that translated itself into the TV world was making a car show way back before you were born in 1997. The TV world was making this car show on national television in England. And they were phoning car dealers in and around the London area, asking them if they could film them being a car dealer. We want to come out and film you because we're going to make this show about car dealers. And every car dealer that they approached said to them, look, we don't want to do this, but there is a guy that you should be talking to. He's the best. Go and talk to Mike Brewer. So eventually the television people come and found me. So that was nice that these guys recommended me. They come and found me. They come and did a screen test with me. They bought a camera and said, we want to put you on TV. Me and my wife refused for the first 6 months.
6 months?
Really?
We didn't want to do it. I had no interest in being, on television until they made this show. They actually went off and made the show. And then they came back to me and said, look, we made the show without you, but we want a host on the show now. And we want somebody genuine to host it. So would you come in and try it as a host? And I said, I'd do it for a giggle. I just went along for a giggle. And I grabbed the microphone, spoke to a camera, and within 30 seconds they said, you got the job. You're just the best thing ever. You got the job. And that was in 1997, and I've never not worked a single day since on television.
Wow.
So I've been making international global shows ever since. And here I am now, 21 years later, is it 22 years later? I live in Los Angeles because Hollywood is where my show's made now. I live in Los Angeles. They put Hollywood there for a reason, because you get 360 days of sun a year. So you can keep filming in the winter, you know? I work for Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
Discovery Channel flew me to Hollywood and said, make the show there. And just keep making it, keep making it, keep making it. So now we're on our I've made lots of other shows.
Yeah.
We're on our 17th season of Wheeler Dealers, the Halo, we call that the Halo show. But I diversify, and I've made documentaries in Afghanistan, war documentaries. I've done lots and lots of I've made documentaries about music and all kinds of stuff.
I want to ask you a question, because Wheeler Dealers started back in 2003.
Yeah.
And you, before we started this interview, you said it's the longest running car show on TV.
Yeah, so it's the longest running continuous
car show on
television.
TV.
Yeah.
What makes it so successful? What do you think? Why is it still the height of the car tier?
It is the #1 car show in the world. Rated by every network will rate Wheeler Dealers as #1. It has, believe it or not, over 200 million viewers in 217 territories around the world. It's translated in every language. 39 languages it's translated into. The reason why it's successful and it's continuous is because we've never changed from that first show, the format. So we haven't changed anything. We've kept it the same. So it's become part of daily life for people. It's a staple. They know exactly what they're going to get. We don't do fake television, so we don't fake anything. It's real. And every single show, the way that we produce it, we aim to educate the audience. So it's not like your standard car show where you see people pull open a garage door, rip an old barn, find out the guy then shouts at his mechanics and says, get this car finished, man, we need to get it. They bolt shiny stuff to the car and they finish it and do wheel spins and burn it out and then sell it, tattoos, shout at each other and then sell it at the auction block. It's not that show. Our show is about buying a car, bringing it back to the shop and educating the audience on how they can do it themselves. And we do it in a very detailed way. And we spend an awful lot of time looking at the histrionics of the car, what makes the car special, how you can have a go. We empower you to have a go yourself. And that's what the audience tune into. They love that educational aspect of it. And we've never strayed from that. So much so that we've just continued to build and pull this audience with us for 17 years. And the network have just ordered another 2 years. So there's another 54 shows coming. Yeah. So Michelle, you haven't got a microphone, so you keep trying to. So it's my wife, by the way. Because the show is so formulaic and methodical in what it does. You see a tool come out of the tool chest, you see it go and work on a car, and you see the tool go back into the tool chest. That lends itself to, believe it or not, to autism. All around the world we get approached by autistic societies that say the only way we can keep the kids quiet and still is we put Wheeler Dealers on. They just zone out to Wheeler Dealers because they know that it's a methodical process show. And that's what autistic kids like. So that's a little sideline to it. There's a real benefit.
Well,
that's pretty awesome.
That makes a lot of sense too, because it's super methodical, super mechanical, because obviously you're dealing with vehicles, you're dealing with mechanics, things of that nature. But I'm interested to find out a little bit more about the work that you do outside of Wheeler Dealers. I read up that you were actually presenting for the British Rally Championship in the Isle of Man TT. So for the people who do not know what the Isle of Man TT is, can you please explain it to them?
It's the most crazy, ridiculous, utterly would never happen again. It's only because it's been going on for over 100 years. It would never get sanctioned anywhere in the world road race on the fastest motorcycles the world has ever produced. So these are super sport motorcycles, 1000cc engines. They do 220 miles an hour flat out, and they race them through cities, towns and villages on a little island in the middle of the Irish Sea, on roads where during the normal working day is 30 miles an hour speed limit. And these bikes are racing at over 200 miles an hour with lampposts, flint walls, telephone boxes, curbs either side of the road. If there's one mistake on 37 miles is the track, 37 miles, one lap, and they do 6 laps. One mistake, you're dead. Simple as that. And that's what is so appealing about it, because people expect to see some kind of event, because you have to be a gladiator. You have to be at the top of your game. You have to be you have to have a different mindset to be able to want to strap yourself onto a motorcycle and go and do that.
How many people are racing?
You got probably at the race weekend, you have so many teams that come and race, like big names like Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha. You can have anywhere up to about 100 competitors. They don't all go at the same time. They go at 10-second intervals. You can't have them, all leave the line at the same time. The very first thing they face, actually, and this is quite interesting, I've taken friends there before and shown them this one piece. I'd show it to you guys if you turned up. They leave the start line, which is a big long straightaway, and then the road dips down, and it's called Bray Hill. It dips down Bray Hill, and then it bottoms out at the bottom. There's a dip at the bottom, and then it starts climbing up again. And Bray Hill is 30 miles an hour in a car, and when you get to the bottom, there's a little turn in the road as well, and there's traffic signals on that junction. I take people there and I stand them the right side of the safety barrier, and they get to see the bikes leave the start line coming towards them. And as the bikes come down Bray Hill, they're hitting the bottom of the hill at over 200 miles an hour. And I've taken 3 guys there, just like you, big, fit, strapping guys, stood them there, and one of them passed out, one of them threw up, was vomited, and the other one ran away. Because they are convinced they're just about to watch an accident and somebody's just about to die. And you cannot believe what you're witnessing. From here to you have a bike doing 200 miles an hour through a little intersection on a normal street with telephone kiosks and people standing around, and you're thinking, this is crazy. Whoever sanctioned this, it's crazy.
It's nuts, especially because it's been around for so long. I remember watching a helmet cam footage of one of the racers during the Isle TT, and watching them literally every zip and turn you can think of. It's just really a back street road. So any mistake that they can make is a fatal mistake. Another question I have for you, because I noticed that I know that you covered the British Rally Championship as well too. That's not too far off when it comes to the amount of attention to detail or reaction time you have to have.
Exactly, right. So I've covered World Rally and British Rally for many years. Now, rally driving, so, lots of people out here, they like NASCAR, they like IndyCar. I love Formula One. Lots of people love that kind of motorsport where it's on a circuit. You got these big runoff areas, everything's safe, everything's, cool, it's okay. You can go fast and you can make a mistake. You're going to spin off into a gravel trap. In the world of rallying, none of that exists. In the world of rallying, you are charging 150 miles an hour through a forest, and just either side of the road, you've got wooded trees, you've got villages, towns, flint walls again, cottages, and you have to be on top of your game. I've competed in rally myself.
Really, as a co-driver?
As a driver.
Oh, okay.
You put yourself somewhere else mentally. You have to get into the zone, and you have to just be in a different equatorial plane from everybody else, because one mistake, a puncture, a nut falls off your car, is fatal. It's fatal. But it's the most exciting spectacle you could ever see. Watching rallying and people going at it sideways through a forest with their car drifting out sideways at 130 miles an hour. It is just incredible. It's a sight to behold. I love it.
Jeez. Which one is your favorite to cover? The World Rally Championship or the British Rally?
World Rally. I did a couple of seasons of World Rally, and that was that's the Group A car. So they are the fire-breathing dragons that shout and scream as they leave the rally start line. and they bark their way through the forest. They are the most exciting cars. They're the top drivers in the world. But the British Rally Championship is the feeder championship to that series. So anyone that competes in the British Rally Championship ends up into the World Rally Championship. The cars are the same. They just don't have the factory budgets that the big teams have when you're in the World Rally Championship.
Nice. If you're if you're starting a rally team, say for a World Rally Championship, you taking a British driver or a Finnish driver?
Well, I think very good question. That's really good. You know your stuff. Finnish drivers are the best, some of the best in the world.
They come out the womb with a helmet on.
Yeah, of course. They come out the womb with a helmet on. I love that. It should be on a t-shirt. That should be on a t-shirt because they are brought up in a country where for 7 months of the year you have snow on the ground. So those guys know carcraft. They know how to handle cars, and they know when a car slides and when it doesn't slide. And that's why Finnish drivers make the best rally drivers in the world. However, now a lot of these young rally drivers, the British ones and the American ones, they will go and train in Finland, extensively to get those sort of skills that the Finnish rally drivers have got. So yeah, they certainly know how to produce a good driver.
Nice. Well, I got one more question before Devin gets back to you as well too. But all right, quick scenario. So the Queen comes down, rings you up, right? She says, Mike, I got a 5-car garage for you. Get to pick any car you want to put in that garage. Which 5 cars are you choosing and why?
That's another great question. That's why you're smashing it, boys. See? You come up with stuff like this, the audience is going to love it. Nobody's ever asked me that before. So I need to come up with 5 cars for the Queen. We've got 2 Queens in England. We've got Elton John, obviously, he's one of them. Right, and then we've got the Queen. So if I had to choose a car for the Queen, well, obviously she's going to have the finest car that Britain makes, and that's the Rolls Royce. So she would have I'll make sure she had a Dawn or something like that, so she could have the roof rolled back if she wanted to. She could look like she plays baseball for the Lakers. Because she'd be cruising down with her sun is on, just rocking it out. I could see that, the Queen, just arm out the window. She'd have one of them. She would most definitely have a Land Rover Series 1. Okay. Series 1 Land Rover, 1948, possibly one of the most iconic British cars ever made. Yep. 85% of all Land Rovers ever made are still on the roads today working around the world, 85%. That shows you how enduring they are and how easy they are to be with, fix and repair. So that would be number 2. Number 3, I think because she's the Queen of England, I'd want her to have something, when she turns up at the opera, she doesn't ruffle her dress. So I was thinking something like the new Range Rover as well would be quite nice for her. Plus it's British and it's very stately. But then I think, the Queen's got to have a bit of excitement in her life as well. Exactly right, so she's got to have a little bit of excitement because, every now and then you need to put your foot down and you need to have a little bit of a thrill. So for the thrill side of it, I think I'd let the Queen, most people think I'm going to say something like a Ferrari 458 or, a 599 GTO. But actually I'm not. I'm going to say I think she'd look amazing in a 1962 Ferrari 250 short wheelbase Testarossa with the little weeny fly screen on the front, which would just be pulling her hair back as she just, it looks like a bug. It's just, she'd be pulling bugs out of her teeth, let me tell you. She would enjoy that car. And then for the last car, I could, just because I'm here, say that maybe she should be driving something American to remember our American cousins, and maybe she should be driving something American. And if I was to get to drive something American, it'd have to be a big, brutish V8. So I'd make her, for her last car in her garage, I think she'd have something like a GT500 Mustang from the 60s.
All right.
I like that.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Nice 5-car garage.
I'd
like that garage.
Queen, hit us up. Or either one. I'm cool with it.
Yes. Or Elton.
Or Elton.
The chances are Elton's got every one of those cars anyway.
He probably does.
He is a car guy.
I'm surprised you didn't say Aston, or especially the Valkyrie.
Well, the Valkyrie is amazing. Yes, maybe I should slide that into the list. The Valkyrie is amazing. That's an amazing car.
Pretty car.
Aston Martin's going through a bit of a resurgence at the moment. It's become #1 coolest brand in the world.
They've been acquired by a Chinese company. Is that what started like the revival? Because I know I've seen a DB8 on the road, and I was like that. I saw it, and I recognized it as an Aston strictly because of the grill. And I was like, wait, they redid the DB8s already? And I went online and just looked through more, and I was like, oh crap, these are sexy now. Not that they were ugly to begin with, but they're a new age cool now. So
they are new age cool, and I think we're going to see the new evolution of Aston Martin because we're all waiting to see what Daniel Craig's going to be driving in the next Bond film.
Yes.
So is he going to be driving a DB11S, which is what I would expect, or is he going to be driving a Valkyrie, or is there going to be something in between the two of those? Because
they did pretty much not Skyfall. Was Skyfall the last?
It's Skyfall,
So Skyfall, they debuted the new chassis model for the DB8 or the DB11 at that point, but it was really a Halo model. It wasn't really like a production model yet, but it would be pretty interesting to see what he's driving.
Yeah, I reckon that Aston Martin traditionally launch a car together with a Bond film.
Yeah.
So I got a funny feeling we might see a DB12 early iteration of something like that, something that slides between the DB11 and the Valkyrie.
Yes.
Because they're both amazing cars. They both are incredible. But actually, I'd like to see Bond drive. And don't be surprised if it's electric as well. You might see Bond driving. There might be a DB11E coming. We don't know.
That is true.
So it could be like an electric. Even I'd like to see him in a Porsche. I'd like to see him in a Taycan.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
say.
Right,
just see him in one of those Taycans.
Man, I wish the price point was a bit lower.
0 to 60 as many times as you like at 3.2 seconds.
Yeah.
And do it as many times, mash that throttle as many times as you like. You're never going to destroy the car.
Damn, I know Devin only wants to get to his other question, but I got to ask you one more question. Do you think Tesla is going to survive the end of this next decade?
No.
Why?
Tesla, I think, is a. I really admire Elon Musk. I think he's an incredible guy. He's made changes to the world that are for the better and for the good. I mean, man, the guy put a car in space.
Yeah.
You have to be smoking some kind of really strong weed to come up with that idea. And then he did. He went on Josh Rogan's podcast like this and smoked some weed and got fired from his own company. The guy's a genius. He really is. He's one of those remarkable characters. However, I do believe the whole Tesla thing is a bubble that's about to burst because they can't satisfy their orders at the moment. They've got too many orders they can't satisfy. The brain is off concentrating on either the Hyperloop under Los Angeles or the rocket program, and there's no concentration really going into satisfying what the customer needs. Plus now you've got every other manufacturer jumped on board to the Tesla bandwagon, and they're coming up with, dare I say, better products than Tesla and sexier looking products than Tesla. And almost every manufacturer from this day onwards is going to have an electric model in their range. Every one of them is. And they have, not one car designer, like they have a Tesla come up with one model design for the X, and for the 3, that's just a one car design. These other manufacturers have a whole buildings, creative teams, drawing these new cars out, and then we end up with cars like the Taycan.
Exactly.
Which is the sexiest looking electric car in the world. And I've never wanted an electric car ever, but now I do, and that's Porsche have done that to me. They've made me want one. So I also think Tesla is building itself up to become a battery supply company rather than a car manufacturer.
Because the way that they're valued, at least on the stock exchange, they're valued as a tech company rather than a car company.
Yes, and that's exactly what they're going to be. They will start to they'll either be closing Tesla at some point or dwindling Tesla down to a stock level where they can satisfy parts, because they still need parts for the cars that are out there. But I do believe they're just going to be a battery supply company, and they are. Elon Musk is building big battery factories,
gigafactories out in Nevada and stuff like that.
Arizona, places like that, and in California.
I love it.
Right.
Devin, it's your turn.
Yeah, thanks. But I do want to switch gears real quick, and I want to talk about something you did in 2010 that moved me and seemed pretty remarkable. You went to the front lines in Afghanistan, and you were showcasing how they're using motorized vehicles for their purpose. Why did you want to do that? And why did you want to showcase that?
Because I'm a proud Brit, and I wanted to showcase just how amazing our country is, and America, by putting myself at the forefront, the tip of the spear, so to speak, so I could see where my tax money was going. We pay a lot of tax.
Do you guys get receipts?
We don't get receipts like you guys, right? So you're just this invisible money you give to the taxman.
Yep.
So we pay a lot of tax. So I frustratedly sat on the train one day heading into London to go and record Wheeler Dealers, and there was a headline in a newspaper, and it's one of our sort of sensationalist newspapers, and it said mother has to go to Dick's Sporting Goods, it's the British equivalent, to buy American football body armour to send to her son on the front line because he's got no body armour. And I thought, as a taxpayer, that's not good. Why is this kid fighting for his country and he hasn't got the right body armour? So I thought that's rubbish. That's really not good. So that day I did something really odd and very strange. I was recording up in London. I had a lunch break, and during my lunch break I walked down Whitehall to the Ministry of Defence building with the 2 cops standing outside with their machine guns. I walked past them, smiled, went, "How you doing, guys?" And they sort of smiled at me and went, "That's Mike Brewer off the television." And I walked into the reception. I walked up to the big, thick, glass-plated receptionist, and I said, "Hello, can I speak to your press officer?" And she said, "You can't meet anyone unless you got an appointment." And I said, "I don't even know the press officer's name, but I need to talk to him." And she said, "Who are you?" And I said, "My name is Mike Brewer. I'm from Discovery Channel." And she went through a Rolodex, and she called this guy. She said, "Yeah, somebody's coming down to meet you." And within 15 seconds, this guy appeared. We went for this James Bond style door. He come through this James Bond style door, about 5 interlocking doors with sniffer machines and bomb detection machines. He then appears in front of me and says, "Mike Brewer, I love you. What are you doing here?" I said, "I've read this story this morning in the newspaper, and it's really made me angry." And he said, it's a load of junk. Don't believe it. It's fake. It's a load of junk. Come in to the building, and I'll talk you through it." So I had to leave my cell phone, my belt. Then we go through these sniffer doors and all this stuff into the center of our Pentagon, if you like. Yeah. Guess what? When you get into the middle of the building, there's a Starbucks. Can you believe it? Right? Yes, there's a Starbucks everywhere. Right, so we sit down at the Starbucks, we have a coffee, and he says, "Look, it's simply a matter of fulfillment. We can't get the equipment to our son because he's a small, and we've just bought out a new body armor, which is medium size. Now the machinery is being made to do the small size, and there'll be a container of that going out in a week's time. And then we'll make a container of large size. And we don't make all 3 sizes at once." So that was his explanation. And he said, "But the newspapers will never believe us, but they will believe you because you're Mike Brewer. So why don't you tell them?" And I said, "Well, how can I tell them?" And he said, "Well, the troops would love it if you went out there, like Bob Hope, during the Second World War. They'd love it if you went out there and said hello to the troops, and you could tell their story." And I went, "Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd be a celebrity and go out to Afghanistan. I'd love to." And then by the time I'd left there and sat on the train on the way back, I'd written a show in my head called Frontline Battle Machines. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to showcase everything that's available to the British Armed Forces and to the American Armed Forces? And wouldn't it be cool to just showcase that all the way down from safety goggles to knee pads to the boots they're wearing, to the guns they fire, to the weapons they fly, to the cars they drive in, and the tanks and the vehicles. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to showcase that? And I got back to my office, I wrote it up as a treatment. I emailed it to the guy, the colonel at the MOD, the press officer. He emailed me back by return and said, "We will give you full unprecedented access to anything you want on the front line. You've got it all." I took that document, that email, I walked into Discovery Channel and I said, "How do you want to send me to war?" They looked at that document and they said, "How did you pull that off? You're going." So that was it. I come up with this series and we made it. I ended up having the most incredible time of my life. I nearly died a few times. I got shot out, blown out the sky.
Yeah, the helicopter.
Yeah, that's what I was reading about.
Yeah, the helicopter pilot got shot in the face. Yeah. I got a round of ammunition under my chair. in the helicopter. Unfortunately, a poor soul is American serviceman as well. We were rescuing. One of those guys passed away. Every guy that was on the airplane got shot in one way. On the aircraft got shot one way or another. Arm, chest, leg. It was a horrific thing. But I'm a journalist, like this guy here. I'm a journalist, so I just sat there with my camera in front of me, and I never stopped talking. I just kept narrating and thinking, how can I describe this scene? I couldn't even look down at the floor. If I looked down at the floor, there was bad stuff in front of me. I didn't want to see that. But I knew that I had to convey the message to the audience at home to let them know what I was going through at that time. And then during that conversation, the pilot goes and gets shot in the face, and then you hear that sound on the walkie and the headset where the pilot says, "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday, we're going down, and you're thinking, that's it, I'm dead now. That's the end of my life. I've only been here 1 week, and I'm about to be smeared on the desert floor at 220 miles an hour. But the pilot continued to fly the helicopter with no front transmission. All the hydraulic fluid had sprayed, the round went up through the cockpit, hit the pipe, sprayed all the hydraulic fluid out the helicopter all over the instruments. He's got a round that went through his cheek out the other side, but he still managed to fly it back. And he sort of crash landed at the hospital. He flew it straight into the hospital, crash landed outside, and saved 21 people that day, including me, saved our souls. And so much so, the Queen of England gave him the DFC, which is the Distinguished Flying Cross. They've only ever given 4 crosses since the end of the Second World War. So this guy's he's a national hero. His name's Ian Fortune. Fortune by name, Fortune by nature, and I am my life. He's an incredible guy.
Yeah, wow. I'm glad Fortune was able to pull that off.
So am I. And so's my wife.
Yeah.
So's my wife. Yeah, no, they couldn't move it. Yeah, the helicopter was locked and frozen. They couldn't even move it. And they still today don't know how he flew that helicopter. It's an incredible thing. It was a miracle.
I just wanted to highlight that whole experience as I was doing the research, because I saw it and I was pretty moved by it, because we need to keep showcasing what's happening out there, because we live each day like this.
Yeah, of course you do. We need to, and that was my chance to have a voice and to let people know, exactly what's happening, because it's easy for us, isn't it? We wake up in the morning, we scratch ourselves, we go and get ourselves a nice cup of coffee, we sit in our car, we drive to work, sit behind a computer, right? That's what we go and do. But little do people know that 6,000 miles away, there's somebody who's fighting for their life to protect you, to make sure that you can get up in the morning, scratch yourself, go and get yourself a cup of coffee and drive to work. And there's some people out there doing that for us, because our freedom is our integrity, and if we haven't got that, then who are we? So I just can't tell you how much thankful I am to the armed forces around the world and what they do. And if you keep knocking back these thugs, these terrorists, and these people like that, and you keep knocking them back, they're going to give up. They're going to give up one day, aren't they?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, again, Mike, we pretty much doubled the time that we had with you, but we appreciate you sitting down and talking with us.
We can carry on talking all day. I don't care. You can see me, once you wind me up, let me go. Simple as that. Simple as that.
I do want to say though, thank you for stopping by. It means a lot.
Guys, it's an honor. You guys you're doing something special here. You've got a great thing going on. You've got a really nice team of people around you as well.
Thank you.
And remember what I said. The word passed down from my dad, I'm passing down to you, my little brothers, which is never do the wrong thing, only ever do the right thing in life. And remember that it'll pay you well. So if you got a chance to do something wrong, don't do it. Just do the thing that's right, and it will pay you off in the future. I promise.
I appreciate that. I really do.
Mike, before we let you go, we got one more question for you.
You are fantastic. You got one more question.
One more. Well, it's been one more for like 30 minutes.
I'm going to get you a t-shirt. So it's just one more question.
I love that.
T-shirts. Where's that cool t-shirt come from? That's nice.
Oh, so this is a so 1995, both men's and women's, the men and women team basketball team for UConn, University of Connecticut, they won the national championship. So
it's a great t-shirt, but it's 1995. So
that was Rihanna's year.
So how do you get that t-shirt now though? Because that's 1995.
So my friend, a good friend of ours, our sponsor by the way, Justin McGant, he runs his company called J Sells Vintage. So he literally goes to thrift shops, buys the wares. And he finds the dopest stuff too, like stuff like this. I got a Raiders jersey from him, a 95 Raiders jersey from him, a 93 Golden State Warriors jersey, Also got a old Speedo shirt.
I got a couple of jackets, pants.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
So this guy goes around and finds his old stuff, brings it back, remarkets it. So where can I find him online? What's his website?
Instagram at J Sells Vintage, or you can find him on
Vintage.
Yeah, and you can find him on eBay under the same name as well.
Fantastic. I'll be doing that. I'll be looking out
you'll
for
find
him,
a lot. You might find some Arsenal stuff in there as well too.
Arsenal or Chelsea? Not Arsenal. That's the other team.
Oh, what's
Who's
it?
Chelsea.
Oh, you're Chelsea?
Yeah, you have to be Chelsea. I'm born south of the river. see?
I'm Manchester
Not Arsenal.
United.
That's north of the river. You can't go there. No, it's sacrilege.
Sacrilege.
I'm Manchester United. So.
Manchester United, north of England. That is.
Yeah.
North of England.
Wait, there's Raheem Sterling. Does he play for Chelsea?
Raheem Sterling does play for Chelsea.
All right, so I'm Chelsea too then. All right.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, see,
Good
all right,
man.
we're all good. We're all good now.
Bandwagoner.
He's Jamaican. Got to stick with my guys. Last question: what does success mean to you?
Success means to me, well, it's the same thing. It's just success means that I get to do this. You know, I get to come to amazing events like this. I get to change the lives of so many people. The biggest, I don't do anything for money. I never do. I do things for the gratitude. And when I stand at shows like this, and I got 500 people lining up to come and meet me, when those people come up and say, "You changed my life by watching your show," I went and worked on my own car, and it taught me how to be a mechanic, or I was unemployed for years and I worked on a car because of you, and it's got me into a full-time job. That's it. That's success. I go, I actually do make a difference. I make this weird little car show, but this little weird car show actually changes people's lives, and that's success. That's what it means to me.
I love it. Real quick, my dad would kick my ass if I didn't say this. He's a big fan of your shows. He's a big fan of you, and he just wanted to say hi.
Well, hi. What's your dad's name?
Scott.
Scott,
Yep.
if you're listening to this, Scott, you've got an amazing son, and he's amazing best friend, and this great team, and I think you're gonna do well. You got good warm hearts. It's a great vibe in here.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. I do appreciate that.
And before we let you go, gotta just get all your media stuff out there. Where can everybody find you if they want to look for you?
Okay, so if you want to find me online, it's at Mike Brewer. That's both on Instagram and on Twitter. And on Facebook, I'm at Mr. Wheeler Dealer. And you'll see it's got like 1 million followers, that one, so it's easy to find. There's a few fakies out there. I don't know why people do that. And if you want the backroom gossip of Wheeler Dealers, if you want to know the ins and outs, the stuff that happens behind the scenes, then you follow my wife at Mrs. M. Brewer. Just come follow us both. That'd be great if you could.
Nice.
I love it.
Well, everyone, thank you for sticking around with us today. This episode has been brought to you by our sponsors, J Sells Vintage, Mellowship Entertainment, and The Big E. Thank you for watching another episode of This Is It Podcast. I'm Brad.
I'm Devin.